What's up? What's up? What's up? Yo, it's good to see y'all again on another episode. As you can see, I had to change a couple things, but it's good to see y'all. I want to welcome you to the Marcus Stewart podcast. Today's show is going to be a simple one. I'm talking about red flags and toxic traits. So I did an episode a few months ago about red flags, and I thought it would be fun to do another one. And so I'm just going to jump right in. I'm not going to waste no time. I do encourage you to find me on Instagram, right? And if you've been enjoying these episodes, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But let's just jump right into it. So I'm gonna start off with red flags, right? When you're dating. So sometimes you get these subtle red flags when you're dating. And if you go back and watch the other episode that I did on red flags, you may hear a couple of the same ones, right? But for sure, this is the first red flag when you're dating, especially if you're dating online. This first red flag is filters. I said it, filters, my brother. Do not be, do not be caught up in the facade of a filter. Bruh, I look, I can tell you so many stories, bro, where I was catfished. And look, I know some girls that say that they was catfished. Chick didn't have no teeth, dude didn't have no teeth. The pictures that they had up was old. Beware of the filter, my brother. Let me tell you something. If you are dating, if you are looking to find you somebody and you on a dating app, beware of the filter. I need to tell you that, bro. Beware of the filter. You can definitely be deceived. I was watching this episode on the Boondocks. When she shows up and she don't look nothing like the picture. Bruh, it has happened. It has happened to the best of us. You know what I'm saying? But here's the thing: you gotta see how they look. So when you get that number, rush to the video chat, my brother. Rush to the video chat. That's a red flag. If they got a filter on every picture, that's a red flag, my brother. That is a red flag. If she has filters on every picture, that's a red flag. I don't mind the filters, right? But as you scroll, you should be able to see some natural, like, let me see you without that caked up makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they be saying beat face beat, look like somebody beat your face up, literally. That's mean, but it's funny. No, filters are a red flag, my boy. She should not have a filter on every single picture, right? Here's another one that I said, and I'm gonna say it again because it needs to be said. Bruh, she should have full body pictures on her on whatever app that she's on. There should be full body pictures. If there are look, I hate that when I was on the dating apps because I got off them, I just got sick of them. But when I was on the dating apps, I would hate these profiles that got 8 pictures and all of them of your friggin' head. Thank you for showing us your head. I swipe left on those, bruh. Swipe left on the headshots. We don't need headshots. You need full body pictures. 'Cause they can be looking one way from the neck up, right? But from the neck down, bruh, it's a red flag. Beware. Be careful, my brother. Be careful, my brother. They can get you. You can get got with the head up photos. Thank you for 8 pictures of your friggin' head. The other word sounds better right there, but you know, I don't be talking like that. But it is funny. Look, beware of the filters, bruh. What do they actually look like in person? That's why you gotta look, you gotta rush to the video chat. So, like, I always recommend this. Like when you dating and you meet a girl and y'all talking on there, you know what I'm saying? You look through them pictures, make sure that there is one picture or 2 pictures or a bunch of pictures without the filters. The other one, make sure that there are full body pictures. Here's the third one. Make sure the pictures are recent. Bro, I can't tell you how many times I have had profiles, bro. Women have profiles of pictures that were 3 years ago, right? and that's okay. But now you done gained 300 pounds. No, ma'am. That's a red flag. That look, that go for guys too, because I've heard some women say that. But that's a red flag. Old pictures are a red flag. You need to update them. Look, when I was on the dating apps, I would always say this: please have recent and full body pictures. Because I will not be deceived again. Look, I'm telling you, my brother, that you will get got. I always bring that up in conversation. Like if you ever start talking to somebody from a dating app, bring it up in conversation about old pictures and filters. And then that's why I say rush to that rush to the FaceTime, rush to the video chat so you can see them, my brother. So like that's just a couple when you dating, right? Then let's go to this. So while you talking, sometimes you get the number right and you start talking and y'all getting to know each other. You know, here's what I have heard. I personally haven't experienced this, but here's what I have heard a lot of: love bombing, right? Uh saying I love you too early. Let me tell you something, my brother. First off, that should not be you. You should not be the guy that's saying I love you. You shouldn't be saying that the first month. You shouldn't. That's you don't need to be saying that, my brother. I don't care how you feel about her. You should not be saying to her you love her, right? That's a red flag, my brother. If she's saying she loved you and it's the first month, that's a red flag. But I need to tell you this, my brother. You should not be the guy that's in love after a month. You shouldn't be the guy that's in love after a week. It's something wrong with that, my brother. Don't do it. Don't look. Don't do it. You need to keep that under control. Don't tell nobody but Jesus. If you love her and it's a month, don't tell nobody but Jesus. Even if even if you think it's mutual, my brother, that is a red flag. Look, I always say it like this, bro. Anything that's real is gonna take time to build. Anything that's real is gonna take time to build. So if it's real, it don't matter if you hold off to say it, bro. If it's real, it's gonna prove itself to be real. But you don't have to go around because look, you know, I would think this. If a girl was to tell me she loved me in a month, you can love anybody in a month. Oh, it's just something about I know. But like, bruh, you need to take you some time, my guy. Like, don't rush to the L word. I don't even use the L word. I like you a lot. I F with you. I don't say the word. I actually use the letter. You get my point. Look, most of the time, if a person is telling you they love you too early, if it sounds too good to be true. And most of the stuff that sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. It's not true. It's fake. It's false, bruh. Don't jump on the L word so fast. And look, if she jumps on the L word, my brother, that's that's a red flag, my guy. That's a red flag. That's a red flag. You know, sometimes a woman that's quick to rush to the L word, man, that you gonna be that, you know, it's a sign that toxic traits are going to follow. Right now, we on red flag. We ain't got to the toxic traits yet. But I'm telling you, the L bomb too early, it's a sign that you finna have a roller coaster of emotions, my G. I'm just telling you. I know that nobody tell you that, but I'm telling you, don't take it as flattering just because she say she loves you so early. Oh, it's just something about you. Oh, it's just this. Oh, it's just that. It's a red flag, my guy. Be cautious, my guy. Beware, my guy. And look, I'm gonna say this again. Don't be the guy that falls in love after 3 weeks. You seen him one time and you in love. No, no, you're not. No, go sit down. Write it down somewhere, but don't say it to her. All right. Love bombing. That's a red flag. Now, look, while you talking to the girl, right? I've heard this thing, and I have actually experienced this one. Sometimes women they like to test your limits, right? So I've heard that you gotta test him to see how he gonna handle this or how he gonna handle that. I think that's very immature. I think that's called a red flag, brother. She should not disrespect you to see how you gonna handle it. That's called immaturity. It's a sign, my brother. You know what they say? This is what they say, and I tend to believe this when they say you saw the signs, you just chose to ignore them. Look, testing your limits at any capacity is a red flag, my brother. She should not be doing stuff to see your reaction. She should not be doing stuff to get a reaction out of you. Now, let me tell you this, bro. You shouldn't be doing the same thing. I'm gonna say this. You should never there should never be a part in y'all's relationship or while y'all dating or while y'all dealing with each other that y'all gotta see how the other I was just testing you. What? Like, bro, we as adults, that's like high school stuff. That's like middle school stuff. Like she shouldn't be doing that. There should be no testing of the limits or the testing of the boundaries. I wanted to see if you was gonna get mad if I did this. I wanted to see if you was gonna get mad if I was to how you gonna respond to another dude. I had a woman one time, so we was dating and we were supposed to be dating exclusively, right? So we ended up going being at the same place. I'm kind of I'm a musician, so I was doing the gig. So we ended up being at the same place, and bruh, she's there. She's ends up sitting with another guy. And for me, I mean, I peep. I'm not the type of guy to, what are you doing? I can't believe you. Da, da, da." I'm not the type of guy to go. I'm just not the type of guy to do that. So then after that, she was like, "Why you didn't come over there and say hi?" And I was like, this is the conversation after we left. And so I say, "Man, it looked like you was already occupied." So I just waved and passed and I said hi. She was like, "No, why you didn't come over there and sit down?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, if you sitting there talking to another dude, what I look like coming over there trying to sit next to you? Like, what is that?" And she was like, "Well, it shows me how you would respond to a girl that did that." And I was like, "Ma'am, I don't know what kind of dudes you used to, but like grown-ups don't play like that. Like, I'm like this. If you dating me, I shouldn't have to tell you not to do something that's out of line. And then you shouldn't be doing stuff that's out of line to try to see how I'm like, nah, you know what? I didn't tell her this, but I politely bowed out. Never heard from me again. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. That's a red flag. She was cute too. That means run. I took off. Never heard from me again. We don't play like that, man. My time is too valuable. Means you be sitting up. You gonna tell me I wanted to see how you? No, no, no. Don't let people play with you like that, my G. Don't let nobody play with you like that. That is out of line. That is called a red flag. That is immature. That's games. Bro, that's games. Look, I say it all the time. A woman that's serious is not gonna play games with you, my guy. A woman that's serious about you is not gonna play. She not gonna do stuff that's gonna even make it seem like nothing if she really serious about you. If she really like cut for you like that, she not finna be doing that. And that only showed me, look, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. Look, that is a red flag. That testing your limits. Look, that leads me into this other one. This is a big one for me. Disloyal behavior. It's a red flag. So look, I say it this way because sometimes a person can do stuff that's not completely cheating, but it's a subtle sign. Look for the subtle signs. A person can give you subtle signs that they for the streets. You know what? I could do a whole episode. Subtle signs that she is for the streets. That scenario that I just described to you, I'm not saying she was for the streets, but here's what I am saying. Ain't no way you gonna be that was games. But this disloyal behavior, man. Look, disloyal behavior is subtle behavior that shows you that she still wants or likes attention from other guys. Now, look, I don't have no problem with that. If that's the way you are, that's the way you are. But don't expect me to be your man while you doing stuff to get attention from other guys. I just can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And you can't play with me like that. And look, I'm gonna tell you this, my G. You have to set certain boundaries of your level of respect and self-respect. A woman is only gonna do what you let her do to you. And I'm not saying this to be dogmatic. I'm not saying this to be controlling or nothing like that. I'm saying you have to set boundaries on how a person is going to show you respect. And the thing is, if a person is with you, they should not be doing things to get attention from somebody else. It's just not okay. Like, bro, when I say disloyal behavior, this is anything, right, that is disloyal or that would seem disloyal. Now, look, you got to check your boundaries. That's why I say every person, you got to check your boundaries. But attention seeking behavior, like dressing a certain way for social media, putting on certain things and recording from certain angles for social media. If that's what you do, fine. Just don't expect me to be the person that you dating while, while you doing it. I saw this video the other day, Cardi B. Now, I think Cardi B is an attractive woman. I do. Apparently, she's pregnant, right? And not only is she pregnant, but on this video, and this was a clip, I was strolling, she has on this dress, she's pregnant, and you could see it's like a see-through dress. And I'm thinking to myself, like, look, if that's what you went to, that's what you went to, that's fine, right? But don't expect me to be your guy while you doing that. That's okay. I think she's not in a relationship anymore. So it's your social media, do whatever you want to. My thing is, don't be calling yourself being exclusive with me. And you wanna don't no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. Posting for the gram, posting for the TikTok, posting for thirst trapping is what I call it. Thirst trapping. Now look, if you want a thirst trap, do it. But don't say I'm your man and you out here thirst trapping. No, no, that is a red. That's a red flag, and that's toxic behavior. That's both of them at the same time. Both. Capital B, capital O, capital A, capital F. Both. That's a red flag, and that's toxic, brother. You get with a woman that has attention-seeking behavior like that. That means she likes the responses that she's getting from people, and that's okay. But you got to ask yourself the question: how far is she willing to go with that? And then that's only going to, you know what, is only going to make you mad and make you uncomfortable. She going to call you insecure when really you setting the boundary. But that's the thing. The thing is, that's a red flag. You are setting yourself up to be in a lot of compromising situations, my guy. Run. So look, if she's too friendly, that's disloyal behavior. Too friendly. Look, when I say too friendly, I mean this texting too much with other. First off, let me say this. You can agree or disagree. It's my podcast, so it's my opinion. Too many male friends is a red flag. Too many male friends is a red flag. This is why I say that. Most of the loyal women that I know, they don't have male friends. They have brothers. I'm talking about blood brothers. They have blood cousins. They got father figures, not father figures. They have fathers, dads in their life, but they don't have male friends. The loyal women that I know and have known, they have family members, but they don't have a lot of male friends. They have the males that are in their family, blood from their dad, from their mom, and they have fathers, but they don't have a lot of male friends. Why is that? Because loyalty has a certain behavior. When I say disloyal behavior, my brother, I'm trying to spare you, my brother. If she has too many male friends, that's a red flag. Maybe you got a lot of female friends. That's a red flag. My God, that is a red. You know that's a red flag. And my brother disagrees with me vehemently. Vehemently. I don't know if that's the right word, but it sounded real cool right there. But the point is, he disagrees strongly. I think that a man should not have a whole bunch of female friends, and I think a female shouldn't have a whole bunch of male friends. And if you do, that is a red flag. She's talking about she gonna call. So look, I'm gonna tell you this. So look, one of the reasons why I do this is because I be trying to share, right? I be trying to share. I had a lot of bad experiences, a lot of good experiences, but I had to learn from all of them. But check this out. So I'm talking to a girl, and we had been talking. We had become exclusive at this time. So she had something going with her car. She says to me, "I'm gonna call my baby daddy and ask him to, you know, him take care of the car." And I'm like, look, all right, look, whatever y'all got going on, why do you need me to be included in that? Like, y'all just continue. You feel me? Like, and some people may say that's overreacting. I don't think that's overreacting because, look, let me tell you this. If a woman wants to be loyal to you, if a woman wants to just deal with you, there is no reason for her to contact nobody else. She'll find reasons not to contact the other person because she's serious about you. She's not going to be looking for reasons to contact the other person. I'm telling you this because sometimes people play these little games, and I'm telling you, She was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna call him." All right, yeah, call him, but don't call me back. Just stay over there. Just keep on going, right? Just go. Now look, here's the thing. After that, I continued talking to her, but it would be these. That's why I'm talking about this disloyal behavior stuff. There were subtle signs, right? There were subtle signs, and then one of my homegirls, she was like, "Oh, she was really just trying to again hit she was trying to test you to see how you was gonna respond, or she wanted you to say, "Yeah, I'll do it. Don't call him. I'm gonna do it." And I'm like, "Bruh, it's a way to go about doing stuff, bro." Look, the right way to handle that is you're supposed to ask your man if you need help. You ain't supposed to be talking about you gonna call someone. Look, that's a red flag, my guy, and toxic behavior. I should have ran for the hills, but I didn't. And look, I know you listening to me right now and you saying, "Man, my girl be doing some of this stuff," and you don't want to leave. I'm telling you, my guy, it's just gonna get worse. Every scenario that I'm saying to you is a red flag. It's just gonna get worse. If y'all dating, y'all start dating, y'all start liking each other, y'all start talking to each other, and this kind of stuff is already coming up. Run, run for the hills and never return. Get out of there. Get out of there. Run. That's a red flag. It's toxic. You're setting yourself up for a lot of arguments, my brother. Look, too many male friends. She when she wanted to call the other dude. Look, here's another one, bro. So I was dating this girl. Terrible. Look, I'm dating this girl, and disloyal behavior, right? So we out on a date. She sees someone who we both know. So we both know this guy, and we cool. Me and the guy's cool. Apparently, her and the guy's cool. So, I'm into exercise, right? And to this day, I don't even think she knows, right? I don't even think she know why I stopped talking to her. But to this day, she probably don't know this. But this is what she did. So we're out and we say hi to the guy. We talking, we chopping it up. And so apparently the guy had on some type of, I think he had on some type of like shirt or something. And so she's here with me. She reaches out to touch the guy. And I'm not talking about on the shoulder. Like she touched one of his muscle. I think it was a back muscle or something. And when she did that, I was like, I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, I ain't gonna say what I said, but in my mind, I'm thinking, did she just rub this nigga? And I'm like, she did. And I'm thinking, all these other people around here, didn't nobody touch nobody, but my person got to be the one to reach out. Oh no, she didn't know it at that time, but the relationship was over. She didn't know it. What the but it was done. It was over. That was a wrap. She didn't know it. But every drink that I got after that, I was thinking in my head, she just don't know. But I'm so gone after this because I'm not gonna be rude. I'm not gonna go crazy, right? Because that's not me. That's not the kind of guy that I am. I can't be out here flipping out because of no female doing disloyal stuff. I'm like this. Whenever a woman act like she wants to show, prove, whatever, I'm not about to act out with that. Like the worst thing you can do, my brother, is respond to emotion with emotion. You can't do that. You gotta be not even a bigger person. You just gotta keep your come on, man. You gotta, bring that down, bro. I held it. Yeah, I held it. I sat with it. I'm like, ooh, when this date is over, she will never see me again. I'm gone. I had to let it go. Why? That was disloyal behavior. That was a red flag. It was a sign of what was to come. And I didn't want to see it. And you know what? The only thing I regret about that whole situation is that I didn't tell her. She's probably finding out right now that she's listening to this. Yep, it's because you touched him and I never said why. I never said why. I feel like this. If I have to say to you that you are doing something that's disloyal, something in you doesn't say, this is kind of off limits right here. I probably shouldn't reach out and touch another man's muscles while I'm with another guy. If something in your mind don't tell you that that is not okay, I'm not the right guy to be with because I'm going to always be mad and you never going to understand why. So I feel like this. If I had to explain to you that you doing something that's disloyal, we don't need to be talking. I think when you really just want to be loyal to a person, and look, this was the same person. The same scenario that I just told you about disloyal behavior. That's what I'm saying to you. When you see these signs, my brother, it's only gonna get worse. That time that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was done. You shouldn't have to tell a woman or a man. You shouldn't have to tell a person right? And I know I got a lot of male listeners, but you shouldn't have to tell a person that what they're doing is disloyal. If you have to tell them that, that's you know, you probably need to rethink that, my brother. You probably need to rethink that. Disloyal behavior, that is a big one. I could do a whole show on just disloyal behavior, but that's a red flag. Here's another one. When we talking about date, so when you start talking to this person, you need to ask them questions because you want to see what their expectations are like. You want to see if these expectations are realistic. Realistic. One of the big ones, she should not be expecting you to take her to a super expensive restaurant on the first date. That's a red flag. That's called an unrealistic expectation. And if you have to do that, she is not the one for you. I have stated this multiple times on this show. If she expects you to take her to a super expensive restaurant on y'all first date, that's a red flag. Unless y'all been talking for like a year and y'all just been video chatting each other for a year, and then y'all decide y'all first date is going out, maybe. But even then, I think the grand gestures are reserved, right, for the couples that are already together and that's going to be together. I see all of that as an investment, right? I'm not going to spend 200 on our first date. And if you expecting a guy to do that, that's a red flag. I'm trying to tell you. If you look, no matter how much money I got, everybody, you can't count nobody pockets. But expecting me to spend so much money on a first date, that's a red flag. And look, agree, disagree, I don't care. That's a red flag. That is a red flag. Brother, that is a unrealistic expectation, my brother. She should not be expecting you to do that. And you should not be doing that, bro. I talk to so many dudes, right? That splurge on the first day. Do the way you gonna go at look, if you take her to one of the best restaurants on your first date, where you going on the second date, my brother? Where you going? You done already went to the top. No, no. I have spent a lot of money on dates, but these were people who I knew we were solid. And even if we wasn't gonna work out, I know that we're gonna have a good time. I know we're gonna have a good evening. This is like our relationship has already been proven and built over time. I don't mind spending that, right? But I'm not gonna spend it on the first. Are you kidding me? No, no, no. And then look, you spend that on the first date, and you find out on the first date that all the filtered pictures that you saw don't look nothing like the person that's beware. Look, that's a red flag, my God. Look, the expectation should not be that you take her to a crazy expensive restaurant on your first date, bro. That is a red flag. Look, here's another one. Expecting you to get her out of debt. We talking unrealistic expectations right now, bro. That's toxic. For her to get in debt before she meets you, for her to expect you to get her out of debt after she meets you, that's called a red flag. That is unrealistic expectations. You should not be expected to get her out of debt. That debt was here before you met me. Now, I would say this. What was the debt gonna do if you had never met me? I can't be your saver. Now, look, you know how we say that in the streets. I can't be a super saver, nothing. I just can't do it. I can't. Not look. I'm not here to get nobody out of debt. I'm just gonna say it like that. I would probably be more open to it if we had a solid like relation. Like if I knew that we was gonna be locked in for the rest of our life. That's when you start talking about debt. That's when you start talking about like that. When you start talking about marriage, when you start talking about making a life together, that's when you start talking about that. But first conversations, she shouldn't be telling you about bills that are overdue, my G. Look, if you talking to a girl, you're talking on the phone and she starts talking about things that she needs to get paid and she don't know how she gonna pay them, that's a red flag. Look, your light bill has always been your light bill, but this month, because you meet me, you want me and your light bill to meet. I shouldn't be meeting your light bill on the first date. I'm sorry. First conversation we shouldn't be talking about your bills. We should be talking about you and me. But that's a red flag, my guy. Expecting you to pay bills that was there before you is a red flag. You gotta run. You gotta run for the hills. You gotta run for the hills. Look, here's another one. Expecting you to have the good qualities about an ex, but not the bad qualities about an ex. That's called a run for the hills, my brother. Run for the hills, my brother. If she says things to you like, you know, is a trigger word. I'm not used to that. That's a trigger word. That's look, that's one of them words that you gotta just start paying attention. You know what's coming after this sentence right here, because that means she wants you to do something that you're probably not inclined to doing. And it's not so much as that she expects you to do it. It's the way that that the person goes about asking you to do it is the problem, right? There should be it should be a way to say everything, like saying stuff like that. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to that. That's what broke me and my ex up. That's what blah blah blah. That's one of those. You teetering on the brink now. You teetering on the brink. Maybe you can get away with that. But start paying attention, my guy. That's one of them. That's like a yellow orange going into red. So just be aware of stuff like that. Now here's another one. If she dated one of your family members, don't talk to her. If she had sex with one of your friends, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. I tried it, but I tried it. I did. I tried it. Like, look, hey, look. I'm not gonna say that, but here's what I will say. Sometimes, sex is just sex. That's what they say. Sex is just sex. So maybe if it's just sex, okay. But if you're talking about dating seriously, no. Really, you know what? This is why I encourage people to not have sex. This is why I encourage people to not have sex. Because you don't want to be double dipping. But if she dated one of your family members, no matter how fine she is, don't do it. If she has sex with one of your friends that you cool with, that you see a lot, that you be around a lot, that comes to family functions, that is called a red flag. That is a disaster waiting to happen. I'm gonna tell you why. Because you are going to have to see this person, and so is she. And you don't know what they did, right? And somebody, I had this conversation. They say, "Well, she had an ex before you." You're right, but I don't have to see him. I don't have to be around him, right? When you start talking about she dated a family member or she was sexually active with a person that you know that comes around a lot, every time she see him, it's on their mind, and guess what? It's gonna be on your mind. Lord forbid if she actually do something like she be too friendly with him one time, and it could be innocent, but it's gonna automatically trigger your mind. Why? You shouldn't have done it in the first place. That's a red flag. If she dated a family member, if she had sex with a family member, if she had sex with one of your close friends that you're gonna see that y'all gonna be around, don't date her. That's a disaster waiting to happen, my brother. I'm just telling you. I know that nobody tell you that, but I'm telling you. I don't care how fine she is. I don't care how big her booty is. Do not date her if she dated a family member. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. You setting yourself up for trouble. Trouble. You set yourself up for trouble. Trouble. I'm telling you, because they're gonna see each other more than once. Cause you bringing her around now, you got to see the person. Come on, bro, don't do yourself like that. Don't do yourself like that. You gotta run for the hills, man. You just gotta not run for. I had a situation where girl I was dating went out on a date with my cousin. Out of line, my brother. That was toxic behavior. But you know what? I didn't stop talking. It was terrible, man. I'm telling you this so you don't have to go through the same heartbreak and heartache that I went through, my brother. Don't do it. You setting yourself up for trouble. Trouble, trouble. It's trouble. I'm just telling you. All right. Here's the last one when it comes to like red flags before we go to toxic behavior. And lies. Any lie that you find out is too many. Any lie that you found out is one lie too many. If y'all just talking and you finding out lies, my brother, that's a red flag. If she lie, any lie is a red flag. I'm gonna tell you why. Because a person should not have to lie about anything, especially when they first meet you. Why you lying and we just getting to know each other? That's a subtle sign. I'm telling you, that's a red flag. You better run. Run. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how small it is. If it's a lie, you better run, my brother. Run. It is not going to end well for you. Run, my brother. Run. Any lie. One lie is one lie too many. One. Oh, it was just a small lie. Run. That's the rule. One lie, run. Run. It was just one. Run. Get out of there. It's a sign of what's to come. I'm just telling you. That lie, that one lie, it's a sign. Brother, you're gonna be finding out all kinds of stuff. Look, I'm trying to school you, my brother. I'm trying to school you. Now, here's some deeper level toxic behaviors, right? So we're gonna move out the red flags, but All right, so this is for those of you who are in a relationship and you've already been talking, y'all kind of been seeing each other, y'all been kicking it. So it's not like we all the way to complete love, right? Or we not solid about like, oh, we gonna be together, we gonna be together, but we getting to know each other, right? And we kind of dating more exclusively, like you starting to spend more time with this person, deeper level toxic behaviors, manipulating tactics. Look, when y'all talking, there are things that a person can do to try to manipulate you to get you to do what they want you to do. You got to be aware. This is the toxic behavior, manipulating tactics, withholding things from you as a way to manipulate you to get you to do what they want you to do. That is toxic, my brother. Toxic. Like I can understand a person getting upset. Like, and here's another thing. Watch how you handle the minor disagreements. When you start taking that turn into getting deeper, you're trying to see if you can actually build a life with a person. You're trying to see if you can actually grow with this person and establish a good, sound, lasting relationship. So that means um, you should be seeing how you how handle minor disagreements. Sometimes a person will take something minor and make it major, right? Sometimes they'll take something minor and make it major in order to manipulate you into doing something. That's called toxic, my brother. Look, watch how they handle minor disagreements. Disagreement does not mean disrespect or degrading comments. So if y'all are having a disagreement, right? And then this person automatically goes to like personal insults, name calling, bringing up stuff like, we should just be dealing with the disagreement, bro. It shouldn't be disrespect. Like it shouldn't be degrading. That's a sign right there. Like the minor disagreements, they gonna show you stuff. This is why I always say, don't do the whole sex thing because sex will cloud your judgment. Sex pull the wool over your eyes. Sex put the shades on. When you have sex, you can have a minor disagreement and overlook it because blinded by the booty. I'm telling you, you can be blinded. But when you don't have that and you have the disagreements, you are able to see so clearly. You're able to pick up. And then when you're having sex with a person, sometimes you'll give that person the benefit of the doubt because you're already locked in. Without the sex, you are more prone, right, to pay attention to it, but then also to like discuss it, like or it'll stand out to you a little bit more, like, yeah, that was kind of uncool. And then if you see that, you look for that pattern, right? If there has to be disrespect during a disagreement, that's called toxic. That's called you are about to run into a bad situation. It's just gonna get worse. If you can't have a disagreement without bringing in disrespect, it's not gonna end well for neither one of y'all. That is called toxic behavior. Here's another one: extreme mood swings. I call it getting big mad over little stuff, bruh. If she tells you that she is bipolar, run. She is basically telling you that she can go from 0 to 100 because you put the pen in the wrong because you didn't use a coaster. She going to the moon. You don't need that in your life, my brother. Extreme mood swings is a red flag. Big mad over little stuff is a red flag. That's why you're looking for those disagreements. Look at how y'all handle disagreements. What is what is her attitude go to when she can't get away? When you disagree with her about something, you feel strongly about what you're saying, and she feels strongly about what she's saying. What is the response? If she start doing crazy stuff, bro, I had this one lady, we was out on a date, and she was like, sometimes when I get mad, I do crazy stuff. The red flags is bing, bing. I'm like, what do you mean when you say that? Because I need to probe this. I need to probe this right here. She said, if I was mad at you right now while you on your phone, I would just take your phone and throw it. Like take my phone and just throw it. We was at a stadium at a football game. I would just take your phone and throw it. You would just take my phone and throw it where? I would just throw it down there somewhere. What? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. She didn't know this. But that was the statement right there that let me know we are never going on another date again. I don't have time for this, ma'am. That you get mad because I'm on my phone. You don't know what's happening. I could have been texting my daughter. I could have been anything. I would have just I had to take your phone and throw it. Are you come on, come on, Look, I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to save you the heartache and heartbreak. If she tell you she bipolar, if she act out when she get mad, run. If she go crazy, bro, I'm trying to tell you. Look, grown-ups are able to talk about their emotions, man. I'm trying to save you, my guy. Look, here's another one. This is very, 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 very toxic. And this is the last one. Excessive jealousy and accusation. Excessive jealousy and accusation. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like the times that I was really jealous, super jealous, is because I was doing some stuff. Yeah, I was jealous because I'm thinking she doing the same stuff that I'm doing. So it made me kind of overreact in my mind though. I was having thoughts in my mind. And you still gonna have the thoughts no matter what. But I was really like, you know what I'm saying? She probably doing some shady stuff. But that was because I was really low key, you know what I'm saying, doing some shady stuff. And that's the old saying. If she constantly accusing you, it's because she's doing something. If there is a constant accusation, look, y'all don't judge me. I dated this girl who was like that. She was very, 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 very jealous and accusing me of everything. So, I be doing the whole church thing, right? And man, a person would say hi, bruh, and we gonna have a conversation about it like when we leave. Like if I'm on the phone with her and a female comes and say, "Hi, Marcus. Hey, good morning." That's she would get mad at me for saying good morning, bruh. That's something with that. Look, if it could be past trauma, it could be trust issues. Either way, it's a red flag. Either way, it's toxic behavior. You better run, my brother. Look, you are not called to be her therapist. That means she have dealt with that past trauma. Like, look, excessive jealousy is a red flag. You shouldn't be get timed. You shouldn't be getting time to go to the store. Now, somebody is probably watching this and say, "Yeah, man, you shouldn't do that." Now, look, if you cheated on her, if you done cheated on her and you trying to get your stuff together, she probably gonna be excessively jealous and she's probably gonna be accusational. I'm just telling you. But I'm talking about those of you who are dealing with somebody, y'all fresh, y'all new, everything is going well, everything is going cool, and she starts you start to notice that she is really excessively jealous, bro. That's a red flag. I'm telling you, that's a red flag. My brother shared something on the show a little while ago about a girl who pulled the knife on him and he wasn't even doing nothing. But I was in a relationship and I got broke up with and I wasn't even doing nothing. And my brother was like, "That's just a sign, bro. Like God saved you, God rescued you." You're right. Because that's the I mean, bro, excessive jealousy and accusation. You don't want to find yourself in a relationship where you feel like you in jail and you haven't done anything. Checking your phone every time you come back from the bathroom. Like you can't take your phone in there to play a game. I can't play a game. And then they gotta run your phone every time. And you ain't done. I ain't talking about those of you who done cheated. Now you done cheated. You gotta come on, man. You earned that. You earned that jealousy. You earned them accusations if you done cheated. But I'm talking about those of us who are really, I'm out here to be loyal. I'm trying to find my wife. I'm trying to find my person. Bruh, if they excessively jealous, if they always accusing you, if they gotta scan through your phone every time, like y'all been together, like you spend the whole day together, right? And you get a text message, and then let's say you gotta go use the restroom, and then you come back and they done went through your phone. Come on, man. Every time you go around the corner, they gotta go through your phone. They in your phone the whole day. Just take it. You know, why? Why we got to do that? That is called a red flag. That is signs of toxic behavior. You need to run, my G. You need to run. You need to run. Find you somebody else. There's a bunch of people out here. Now, here, look, my final conclusion thoughts. Don't get blinded by the booty. Don't let the booty blind you to make you overlook red flags and toxic traits. This is why I tell you, my brother, don't have sex with her. Because sex with her is going to make you overlook the red flags. It's going to make you become okay with the toxic behavior. You're going to find yourself 10 years later. You got blinded by the booty, my guy. Don't do that to yourself. Take sex off the equation so that you can see who she really is. All right. So with that, it's another episode, man. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you've been enjoying my shows, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can see every time I post a new video. But look, that's another show. That's another episode. You can find me and follow me on all social media platforms at Marcus Stewart Podcast. Share this with somebody, and I'm gonna see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one, man. Remember what I said. Don't get blinded by the booty.